Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, and I've been listening to a box that's been around for a while, but I wanted to talk about it because it was favorably reviewed by our very own Jed Disler at ClassicsToday.com. If you're a Classics Today insider, I recommend you go and read Jed's review and listen to the sound clips. It is the complete Vega recordings made between 1956 and 1963 of Yvonne Loriod, also known as Madame Messiaen, the second wife of the great French composer and perhaps the finest or one of the finest exponents of his work. She was an amazing virtuoso, really, really amazing. I mean, she was well known for her contemporary music, basically. I mean, that's what she did. But she recorded everything. She had a very wide range of stuff that she could do. Her performances of earlier music are not in any way, unidiomatic or wrong-headed or, cold or glacial or out of their element or anything. I mean, she was a very, very cultured woman with a wide range of reference and an enormous technical facility at the keyboard. I mean, really, really fine virtuosa is what she was. So there are 13 discs in this box. Some of them sound a little scruffier than others, but most of them sound pretty good on the whole. And let's just talk about what's in here. And if you're curious, I mean, if you're a pianophile, it's worth hearing. I also want to point out, there were so many fine female French pianists at the beginning and through the 20th century. I mean, really quite a few. I don't mean the modern digital ones. I mean, in the first half of the 20th century, too. I mean, there was Marcel Meyer, and there was Magda Taliaferro, and there was Valerie Thyssen, whatever her name was. I never remember. And, but they were really, really fine artists. And as with all of these musicians, we don't hear as much of them as we probably should have. They weren't recorded as frequently as the guys were, but they were every bit as good. I mean, really just major artists. And it's interesting. I don't know. It seems to me that the French have always had a more open attitude toward women musicians than other countries. Maybe I'm wrong, but it just seems to me when you go all the way back to, Elizabeth Jacotet de la Guerre and those, and then of course, Germaine Taillefer and the Lessis lady and Chaminade. They were working, and there were a lot of them, and they were good. And yes, they were treated as second-class citizens because they were females, no question about that. But they still had the opportunity to have their works performed, and it was probably because of the tremendously rich and varied Paris salon culture, where music making was done, in the homes and concert rooms of, wealthy French citizens. And it gave these people opportunities that they probably didn't enjoy to the same degree in other countries. And I just think it's a remarkable thing, a remarkable tradition of which Loriod was certainly a part. So this begins with Mozart. You get 4 of his fantasies, which are very well done. I mean, they're nice performances. They're intelligent and effective and in scale and idiomatic. They're just very good. And you get the first 4 piano concertos with the orchestra, the little ones, the young teeny ones, numbers 1 through 4, with the orchestra of the Domaine Musicale under Pierre Boulez, no less, when he was a kid, They were all just having fun, It's really kind of cute. And the Alla Turca piano sonata, and then the Liszt sonata in B minor, a very, very good performance of that makes absolutely no concessions to the technical difficulty of the work. It's a very, very fine, fluid, and intelligent performance. I mean, the fugue is terrific, and all those octave things that pianists like to yell about as being fiendishly difficult. She handles it all. She takes it all in stride. Then you got a selection of 12 Chopin etudes drawn from both opera, opuses 10 and 25, and Schumann's 8 novelettes, opus 21. I like the Schumann better than the Chopin. I think the Schumann performances have a little bit more spontaneity and risk-taking. The Chopin seems a little careful to me, but that's me. Then we've got all of Albeniz's Iberia, which is it's a very good Iberia. really first class. And also her Falla, Nights in the Gardens of Spain, that's with Manuel Rosenthal. And the Orchestre du Théâtre National de l'Opéra, the Paris Opera Orchestra. Oh, it's wonderful. It's one of the great Nights in the Gardens of Spain. I mean, hands down, fabulous, subtle and scintillating and brilliant and probing. And Rosenthal is the perfect accompanist for that work. He really is. And then the Schoenberg Suite, Opus 29 for 7 instruments, which is just, a laugh riot, as it usually is. And Hans Werner Henze's Concerto per il Marigny, with Rudolf Albert and the Orchestre du Domaine Musical. I mean, there's not a lot of Henze out there nowadays, and I don't feel sorry about that because he was a jerk, but, she plays it quite well. And then we've got on CD 6, this is all of her meat and potato stuff, the Webern Variations, Opus 27 for piano, the Boulez Second Sonata, the Barraquet Sonata, it's a legend, and the Berg Piano Sonata in B minor. Now, these are all very, very famous performances. They really are, and deservedly so. They've held up extremely well. The music, the Barraquet is like practically unlistenable, and the Boulez is Boulez, but she was a passionate advocate of that music and really did it full justice. Then we've got lots of Messiaen. We've got the Vision de la Main with hubby, or future hubby, or Albia Duet as the second piano, and Canti-Yod-Yod-Yod-Yod-Yod-Ya-Ha-Ha, whatever that thing is called, Canti-Yad-Ya-Ha-Ya-Ya-Ya for piano, which is actually a rhythmic study that sounds much easier to listen to than it is to pronounce. And the Oiseau Exotique for piano and orchestra. I just love that. That's so much fun. And that's with, the Domaine Musical people again. And the Messiaen 20 Regard. And then you get the complete Catalogue des Oiseaux. That's a lot of yapping and birding and screeching and fleeping and swooping and cheeping and all that bird stuff. Wonderfully done. And she re-recorded all this Messiaen stuff, by the way, most of it, for Erato in that big Messiaen box, which I have sitting up there, this lovely, colorful Messiaen box. So if you want that, you can get it that way. You already have it. You don't have to get this. But, there are minor differences that, Jed talks about more comprehensively than I feel inclined to. It all sounds pretty good to me. And then you get the 7 haikai, the set haikai, the haiku things. That's with Pierre Boulez and Les Percussions de Strasbourg and the Orchestre du Domaine Musical. Famous recording, very famous recording. And then finally the Tarantella Symphony. Just kidding. Messiaen's Tarantella Symphony with the Orchestre National de la RTF, Radio Diffusion et Télévision Français, under Maurice Leroux. Not a very good Tarantella Symphony. They really are hanging on for dear life for a lot of that performance. Orchestras have since learned to play it, and to play it far more positively. And she participated in half a dozen other recordings of it, so you're in business. Get the Zawa Toronto one if you want a really great early version of the Tarantella where she's in top form with her sister, Jean, as the Onde Martinet, of course. And then we've got, a bonus CD where the Messiaen 8 Preludes for piano and Stravinsky's Petrushka with the Orchestra dei Cento Soli with Rudolf Albert, and she's got the piano parts. So there you go. A wonderful memento to a fine artist, and I'm happy to have it in my collection, and you may want it in yours, so I'm mentioning it now. Keep on listening, friends, and thanks so much for joining me. Take care.